It's my money. I'm allowed to withdraw from my own bank account.
Yeah, so
You said that what's the maximum limit you can give a withdrawal to a customer? It's $3,000 on the day. You've already mentioned that multiple times.
Yeah, not today.
Why not today?
Wow, folks, that's a video going viral on TikTok. That's the bank in Canada refusing to give a customer money. I mean, it was his money. And, you know, we've talked a lot on this show and for a while now with respect to inflation in the market, but you know, what doesn't get enough attention is the social impact. You know, there's a direct correlation, for instance, with higher inflation and homicide rates. And of course, we continue to talk about this big spike in the so-called Big Mac indicator. By the way, that's also minimum wage. You know, there was a time when we used to worry about this stuff. This is the cover of Time magazine, March 13th, 1972. It says, "Is the U.S. going broke?" Now, the article begins with the statement, "Can a nation with $1 trillion economy be running out of money? By most measures of private wealth, the U.S. is the richest country, but in terms of its ability to pay for the public services, health care, education, welfare, garbage pickup, pollution control, police, fire protection that make the life of its citizens pleasant or at least tolerable, or in some cases even possible, the country seems almost to be going broke." I want to bring in now Walser Wealth Management President Rebecca Walser. You know, Rebecca, you can say that now multiplied by many times, but we just don't seem to care. At least back then, someone was paying attention and someone did care.
You know, that Canadian clip is so scary because that really could happen in America. The Federal Reserve has already talked about potentially a bail-in. They will not bail the banks out again, Charles. If anything happens, money could be frozen and clients will be locked out.
Do you believe that, though?
No, I don't believe that would happen.
No, do you believe they won't bail the banks out? Two things. You've got the Federal Reserve, which really is a bank for the wealthy.
Right.
I mean, it's a bank for the banks and a bank for the wealthy. That's who they work for. They don't work for the U.S. for citizens. It's time people understood that.
I'm so glad you said this because so many people think that because we're the world reserve currency that we have to bail out the dollar, that we won't let our system collapse. What they don't understand is what the BRICS nations are doing to basically do cross-border payment transactions in local currencies without a reserve alternative to the dollar. So, yes, I believe with the amount of deficits that we're running, that we just seem to carte blanche. We're not in a war right now directly. We're not in a pandemic, and yet we're still getting a $7.3 trillion budget proposal from this administration. I think the rest of the world is saying America has taken modern monetary theory way too far.
And of course, you've been talking about gold for a long time. It's paying off. No, listen, this is why you've been positioning your clients.
Absolutely.
Central banks have also been positioning there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And the big spike came with the invasion, right? Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So this is not just inflation. This is sort of an indictment on the geopolitics. I think the ability of America to come to the rescue of the rest of the world.
Yeah, I mean, if you kick someone out of the SWIFT system and say you're going to confiscate their $300 billion in U.S. Forex holdings, that's a problem. Obviously, that wasn't done.
Right.
But, Charles, that scares a lot of countries, and they basically are buying other things besides the dollar.
So then where do we go from here?
I mean, I am bracing for really global upheaval, macroeconomic disruption, global upheaval. And if we have a World War III or an escalation, that certainly will bring it all the more faster.
I mean, the spike in Google searches for World War III is through the roof.
Exactly.
You know? And this periodically happens. Sometimes people get excited and say, oh, it's no big deal. But at some point, it is a big deal, particularly if it's on the minds of people, because people react to the way they're feeling.
Well, it's also that we've had ongoing conflict that involves a global superpower, Russia, since 2022, and people are uneasy about that. That has not completed yet. Now we've got the Middle East popping off, too. You've got China, Taiwan, tensions going, and with what Xi Jinping is always saying, Taiwan is a part of China. You know, there's a lot of geopolitical problems right now, on top of the economic problems, on top of no one seeming to care in the United States how much money we have to constantly keep printing. Charles, we could go no bid on a Treasury auction. That will really tell us something.
Wow. A lot of folks are saying it will have to be the bond market that gets our minds right. So I got 30 seconds. If they're not in gold, they should still be buying?
Well, this is definitely not the top end. I don't expect it to keep going to the moon. I think we'll have some retrenchment, but it will continue to go up as these global
That's what you'll be able to sleep at night with, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Rebecca, thank you so much.
Thank you,
really
Charles.
appreciate it.